Hello everybody, Turtle here. Before we get into this video, I want to say that there will be some seriously disgusting stuff talked about in this video about the theater that I'm at. We will start the video with a couple of lighter subjects, but it will end up getting pretty disgusting towards the end. So, just a quick disclaimer, because the stuff that happens is just awful, and I hope this doesn't happen to anyone else at our theater company. So, as you just heard me say, our theater company, this video will be mainly about stuff that happened at our theater company, and about a girl I like. Let's call her Brown-Eyed Girl, because she has brown eyes. That sounds good. We met, well, I wouldn't say met, but the first time we talked was during Annie, when we did our production of Annie in the fall of 2025. One of my friends and one of her friends, they broke up after a pretty long relationship. I wouldn't say it's super long, but I think it went on for like 9 months to a year. It went on for a bit, and they ended up breaking up because of a false accusation. Where do I even go from here? I was just hanging in with him during the time when he was really sad. He was like crying during the production, and like, this is usually a really goofy guy. He became a lot more serious. That's the first thing I noticed when that happened. I just knew, okay, something has to be going on. I didn't know they broke up at the time, by the way. I didn't know. Yeah, he was so sad during that. But that was during Annie, and that was really the only conversation I had with Brown-Eyed Girl that entire show. Although, she was friends with one of my friends. So I realized that maybe we could build a bit of a connection through that. And hopefully I could get to talk to her more. Fast forward to winter, we do a little bit of a lesser known show called The Wind in the Willows. It's about Frog and Toad, and it follows the Frog and Toad storyline. It's kind of just like an add-on to that. Oh, dude. Yikes. During The Wind in the Willows, I have a couple of conversations with her, because, I mean, like, oh my holy stutter. Like, before rehearsal, and like, as we're heading out of rehearsal, and even sometimes during rehearsal. I think I sat with her once during a stumble through of the show, where I just tried to get through Act 1. And jeez, dude. When I went home that night, I realized that I might actually like this girl. And hopefully we could get together. So anyway, we start talking. And like, they go on stage to do their number. And me and my friend were just sitting there. And he whispers to me, "We're the Wild Gromers," which is a parody version of the song that they're up on stage singing. Which, not the only time you're going to hear the word groomer in this video. I'll just say that, a little bit of a spoiler. But he does say, "We're the Wild Gromers." And I just start cracking up. I think I lost my voice from laughing that night. Luckily, that's towards the end of Act 1. So that was the only thing I had to do for Act 1. Oh, jeez, dude. I can't believe I just fumbled like that. But that was during Act 1. And they come down from the stage and they're like, why were you guys laughing? Why were you guys laughing so much? Like, what? Why could you be laughing? And they're clueless. And I just whisper in the ear of the girl I like, brown-eyed girl, and I say, we're the wild Gromers. Hopefully my mic picked that up. Oh my gosh. No, if you're a viewer right now, play 10 seconds back and watch what just happened. That was the biggest teammate sell I've ever seen. Blame that on me as much as you want. I'm blaming that on my teammate. I am flabbergasted here. That is absurd. But anyway, I whisper in her ear the parody that he was doing, and she just starts laughing absurdly. And like, she even said one day, that was Friday, and then we had another rehearsal Saturday morning, and she told me that she accidentally started singing that in front of her stepdad. Peak absolute cinema. Anyway, that's probably the last bit of joy you're gonna get in this video, because now we gotta move on to more of a serious subject. Move on to Tech Week. Okay, first of all, before we do that, again, another absurd teammate sell. Play that back. That one, there's no way that wasn't on purpose. That was just, I am shocked here. I don't even know what to say. That was absurd. Anyway, I need to stop laughing because this is serious. Okay, so there's another guy in the show, in the production. Let's call him Luke, because that's his name. He's 15 years old, although he definitely does not look 15. He's 15 years old, and again, my crush, brown-eyed girl, she is 12. She's 12. And that just, that hit me when I found out that Luke had a crush on Sewa. Because first of all, now I have competition. And second of all, he's 15. That's a 3-year age gap. And get this, Luke asked brown-eyed girl, hey, what's your age? And she said, 12. And he whispered under his breath, not that much of an age difference. Ooh, nice clutch. Sorry, I just can't. Oh my gosh. But he says, not that much of an age difference, which, absurd. This isn't the only time at Unnamed Theater Company that someone like this has appeared. I'll just say that. And sorry, I'm just watching the video at this point. Did I get a kill there? Hey. Okay. Sorry. But come Tech Week, I get told about this because, and this is a big problem for me, because in the green room, Luke sits right next to me. So there is this another girl, she's a bit younger, Nayeli. I asked her, she also sits next to Luke. So it's Luke, I'm on his left, she's on his right. I asked Nayeli to move her in Luke's chair so that I didn't have to sit next to Luke for that. Luke wasn't there for the first 2 days of Tech Week. So that helped, I would say, but just awful. Awful. So I have Naomi move our seats. And she did. She moved our seats. W Naomi. I don't think I've thanked her enough for moving our seats. But I realize if Luke's unoccupied for the entirety of the rest of the show, where we're mostly just sitting in the green room, to be honest, then he's gonna keep being weird towards Sayla. And I used to be friends with this guy until I heard what happened. Well, I wouldn't even say friends. I would say closer acquaintances. I used to be closer acquaintances with this guy. And again, the second I found out what he did, I had Naomi move her seats. Sorry for repeating everything. I think that's the third or fourth time I've said that. But she moves her seats. And again, I realize I need to keep him occupied so he doesn't keep being weird towards brown-eyed girl. So I, being the genius that I am, and the degenerate gambler that I am, I bring a set of cards and some poker chips. And I decide that it would be smart if during the entirety of the show I distract him by playing poker and blackjack. So he can't do anything weird towards brown-eyed girl. I know. I'm a genius. Trick kids by gambling. I am just that guy. I don't even think hold up, do I even lose a round of Axe? Like, do I lose a best of 3 at all? I don't even think I do. Now, Luke, that kept him distracted. I still never forgot what he did. Or what he wants to do. So, I just never forgot that. And then, fast forward, there was another girl in our green room. I'm not going to say her name for privacy reasons, but she was gay. And honestly, she just didn't really tell anyone. I don't blame her. I think I'm one of the only people who knew. But Luke decided, he wasn't even talking to Hannah. He just said, out of nowhere, yeah, I'm homophobic. What? I'm sorry? Whoa. And then it turns into, like, this big thing between this gay girl and Luke, where they get into a big fight in the green room. And I've figured it out by now. I've definitely figured it out by now that she's gay. And then when we were backstage about to start the next show, she told me the thing. And I was like, I didn't want to be rude about it. Like, yeah, I know. But, like, so I just put on, like, oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Little does she know, I knew the entire time. But we do end up having a couple chats about Luke, and I end up telling her about the brown-eyed girl situation, and she just doesn't believe me. She doesn't believe me one bit. She doesn't believe me at all. Which, I mean, I don't blame her. It's not the first time something like this has happened at Unnamed Theater Company, but I still don't blame her for not believing me. Because it's a bit of an insane story. Like, oh, wow. That's kind of how I felt hearing the situation for the first time. Actually, for the first time, I kind of thought it was an overreaction, but I still just wanted to be sure, swap seats so I wasn't sitting next to him. You know, because I didn't want to be sitting next to a pedo. Like, I mean, I accidentally, the last show, Annie, I affiliated myself with another pedo. So you could say that this is not the only time this is not the only time I have been affiliated with a pedo at this company. And hopefully it doesn't happen anymore, because I swear, if I have to deal with another one, I'm gonna crash out. I've had to deal with the 15-year-old and 12-year-old. The other one, I wouldn't even say I was a part of, because they're a bit older. It's not even my business to know this, honestly. And I'm not even going to share who, because I know some people at the company watch my videos. So I don't want to say who, but there was a bit of a situation involving a couple of adults that I've had conversations with, and it's honestly just disgusting. Like, actually, just awful. Awful. It was an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. Just... Anyway. Let me pull up my notepad to see. Oh, yeah. We're going to be moving on from Luke and going to another kid who I do not feel ashamed of saying the name of. Lachlan. This kid, Lachlan, he's a bit shorter than me, but he's slightly older than me. And let me just say, this kid really liked getting on my nerves. And I didn't want to be rude to him, because I'm pretty sure that he actually had some problems. So I didn't want to be rude to him. One day, I decided to bring a ton of warheads because, you know, at this place, I'm known as the pantry man. I'm known as that guy. I'm the guy that's always hooking people up with snacks. Anyway, for the snacks, sorry, I just can't talk right now. My mind is boggling up. That I definitely could have said something else than that. I could have said anything else than that. And that's what I had to say. Jeez, I would bring warheads, and this actually started a year and a half before this, where I would just give some kids warheads. If they could keep a straight face, then they win the challenge. No one did it. Genuinely, no one won the challenge. Which, definitely, when I moved on to main stage, everyone completed it. I don't think there was one kid who didn't complete it. Except for this one kid called River, but that's a different story. Anyway, I told this kid, hey, I'm not going to be giving out warheads for a second. He asked me for warheads, and I said, hey, I'm not just going to be giving them out for a second, because I need to focus on getting on stage when I need to. And he starts crying. So I give him a warhead, but I tell him, hey, again, I'm just not going to be giving anyone warheads for a second, so please don't ask me for any more. He says to me, and I'm not even joking, I'm going to kill your family. I don't care if that was in a joking way. I put him on the ban list. And the ban list, he was the only kid on the ban list, but it's not super hard to get on the ban list. But he still managed to get on the ban list. Which, I mean, first of all, it's impressive to get on the ban list, because you have to do something pretty bad. I did put Luke on the ban list, by the way. I should probably just say that. I did put Luke on the ban list. Need to point that out. But he told me, I'm going to kill your friends and family. So I say, I'm not going to be giving you a warhead if you say that. You're on the ban list now. And he genuinely just crashes out on me. He gets super mad. Honestly, this is just not behavior I like. I hate this behavior. Anyway, again, I am going to bring up Nayeli and another girl named Juniper. These are actually pretty nice people. They're girls who are like maybe 1 or 2 years younger than me. They're pretty nice and welcoming to the community. Juniper was actually Annie in Annie, so I will say she definitely knows how to use a big role. She's a pretty talented actor. I haven't seen Nayeli in that big of a role yet, but I assume that she could probably crush a bigger role. They were trying to guess my crush, and they said, give us one letter of who it is. Give us one letter of their name. Any letter. And I say A. You know, the most common letter in the English alphabet, and I'm pretty sure every single girl at Lovegood, almost every single girl, gotta rule out Juniper, but almost every single girl has the letter A in her name. So they immediately were like, oh yeah, it's Brown-Eyed Girl, which I'm not gonna say her name, but yeah, they say, oh yeah, it's Brown-Eyed Girl. And I'm just like, where did you get that from? I just said the most common letter in the English alphabet, and you just jumped to conclusions. Like, I feel like you guys could have guessed without me giving that clue. But obviously, I try to just brush it off. I don't tell them that I don't like her, but I'm not gonna say that I like her, because that would just give everything away. Anyway, let's get on to my 10th subject. Luke's not at Unnamed Theater Company anymore. At least I haven't seen him. I hope I don't see him, actually. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna say that. I hope I don't see him. I really hope I don't see him in the show, but that's all I have to talk about today. Like I said, this video did get really weird, and I'm sorry for that, but I just feel like I had to talk about it. If I'm talking about my crush, I had to bring up that situation. So, goodbye everyone. Have a good one. Good